Hi everyone, welcome to this week's Learning Space. My name is Dr. Nicole Gugliucci. I am the host of Learning Space, and today you just get me. My co-host Georgia Bracey is off in DC, I think, for a meeting, and then next week she's in Vancouver, so she is doing a bit of planet hopping, as it were. I tried to get a guest for today on a topic I wanted to talk about, but they are quite busy and weren't able to get back to me in time. So what I thought I'd do is talk a little bit about World Space Week, which is next week, and tell you how you can check out events that may be happening near you. And I'd also like to talk a bit, I've started to get some questions and phone calls about the lunar and solar eclipses that'll be visible from North America. So I'll give you guys some information on that. Also happy to take any questions you guys have. I see we have a hello from Nancy. Happy Learning Space Day. And a hello from Guido. Happy Learning Space in October. It's already October. Oh my gosh. So welcome everybody watching. And if you are here because you subscribed to my YouTube channel, sorry, not sorry for the last video. If humorous things are not your thing, that's fine. A couple more, and I'm probably not going to have them show up in the feed so quickly as they did. But if you do subscribe to my YouTube channel and you saw that, that was for a fundraiser. So it was for a good cause. I hope you enjoyed the humorous video as well. So I wanted to share with you guys a bit about World Space Week at worldspaceweek.org. I've enabled the Q&A app so that you guys can ask any questions, leave any comments, say hello. And I've also enabled the Showcase app. So if you go to that, there'll be links to both World Space Week, which I'll be talking about briefly first, and then the eclipses coming up in October. So World Space Week was declared by the United Nations in 1999 as a large public celebration of spaceflight, and that's because of a couple of important anniversaries that happen next week. So World Space Week officially starts October 4th. October 4th will be this Saturday and goes on through October 10th. And October 4th is the anniversary of the launch of Sputnik. So Sputnik being the first human-made satellite from Earth to space, going beep, beep, beep all the way around in 1957. And then in October 10th of 1967, took 10 years later, was the signing of the Treaty on Principles Governing the Activities of States in the Exploration and Peaceful Uses of Outer Space, including the Moon and other celestial bodies. Longest title ever, but hey, it's a treaty, so I guess they have to make sure they include everything. Basically saying that no one nation could go and necessarily claim the land in outer space or use it for something other than peaceful uses. So it was a treaty for all of humanity to explore space together. So they've been doing a bunch of events all over the world. I can pull up a map with the screen share. So this is at worldspaceweek.org. If you're listening, we'll have that in the show notes as well. So there's of course a worldwide map of activities happening. There are over 500 events logged. About 288 of them show up on this map because they had a location. So all over North America, South America, a few in Africa, all over Europe, and a bit in Asia as well, the Middle East. So lots of space happenings in different countries around the EU and in several states of the US. So if you can find one near you, that's great. We're out here in Illinois. Unfortunately, there's not one here. So we may just have our own space celebrations every day anyway. So I'm not too concerned about that. So that's a little bit about World Space Week. So you can check out something near you. There's lots of different sponsors, including lots of organizations we know very well: Astronomers Without Borders, Yuri's Night, UNAWE, Lockheed Martin. Lots of great people who are working to sponsor and keep this celebration going. So do something for World Space Week. If you don't get to an event or you don't have an event near you, do something spacey. Tweet some extra spacey things. And let people know that you do appreciate humankind's exploration of outer space. So that's World Space Week, and during World Space Week, there will be a celestial event The lunar eclipse will be visible. There's a total lunar eclipse happening. It'll be visible. Let me pull this up from, let's see, the West Coast. For most of the U.S., it'll be completely visible for the West Coast of the U.S., Western Canada, Alaska, Eastern Siberia, Eastern Australia. But we'll get everybody across North America and Asia and Australia and South America will get a good view. Unfortunately, you guys over in Europe are not going to be able to see this particular lunar eclipse. So a lunar eclipse, of course, occurs when the moon ducks behind the shadow of the Earth. Every once in a while, it lines up such that the moon will actually go through Earth's shadow. So shown here. And so it's got the different times it's got different times of when it goes in and out of the shadow. There is a chart. So if you go to eclipse.gsfc.nasa.gov, we'll put that up in the notes as well. And that will tell you everything you need to know about observing eclipses, including dates and times for different locations. So that's the lunar eclipse. Like I said, I've gotten a couple of local calls about that. It'll be, for us, I think it'll be close to the moon setting, the eclipse time here. So it's not exactly a really good time to hold a public event. But if you get a chance to see it, check it out. And I'm sure you will be seeing photography of the eclipse from all over the world the next day. Universe Today is, of course, a really great site that often collects a lot of these best photography that happens around the world. We have here we go, a note from Guido. Starting in about a week, the International Space Station will be seen in Europe in the evenings. So they've got 6 humans flying overhead. So that'll be next week. Check heavensabove.com, heavens-above.com. That is really great for looking for the International Space Station. So you guys in Europe are going to get some really great evening passes. It's always nice to wave at the station and wave at the astronauts. You know they can't see you, but it's nice to know that you're thinking of them. And it's really cool when you're standing outside and looking up at the sky and somebody wanders by and goes, "What you looking at?" And you go, wait, there. And then right there it appears because you're watching your timer, and they're really surprised. Like, "What are you talking about?" Like, "Oh yeah, that's the space station. Did you know that was going overhead? There's 6 people on it." So that's pretty cool. Nancy Graziano signed up for ISS flyover alerts via email, so she gets email notifications whenever it's visible. I have an app. When we did a show about apps a while back, don't remember what mine's called. ISS Tracker, ISS Detector. I like to use that on my phone to let me know when there's going to be a bright iridium flare or an ISS pass over, particularly when I'm doing public events. So that's really nice because you've already got people outside and looking up and get their attention for something like that. So even though you guys won't get the lunar eclipse that we're seeing here on October 8th in Western North America, or North America, South America, and Asia, you will get some nice ISS passes. Then there's a solar eclipse happening on October 23rd. Again, the west coast of the US and Canada will be best placed to see this one. It's a partial solar eclipse, so that the moon won't be completely blocking out the sun. It's not exactly lined up this time. But the partial eclipse, I know that there's some people getting ready to view the eclipse in Seattle and Toronto. Trying to think of what other good places we'll be able to see it. Yeah, Seattle and Toronto are a couple places I know of that are having events. Here where I am in St. Louis, kind of of North America, we'll be seeing it near sunset, so we'll get to see part of a solar eclipse. And you always, I don't know if I have a pair of them handy. Oh, I do. You always want to use safe sun protection when you're viewing the sun. So there are solar viewing glasses that you can buy. Astronomers Without Borders just put all of theirs on sale. So you can get them depending on how many you get for between $1 and $3 each. So these are, I put this on, I literally cannot see anything through them. But if I look up in the sun, I'd see a little disk. These were from the Venus transit in 2012, which was just barely visible through these guys. So use safe solar protection or make a pinhole camera. So you could just put a pinhole in a piece of cardboard and make a shadow on the ground and see how the shadow changes as the sun goes through the eclipse. Or you can project the image from a telescope onto a piece of paper, a piece of cloth, something like that, and build a solar viewer as that. That's another safe way, as long as you don't mind the glue getting a little melty in your telescope. That has happened if you use a cheap telescope. That has happened to me. The glue gets melty when you point it at the sun for too long. So that is the solar eclipse on October 23rd. The lunar eclipses are part of a tetrad. Some people have been asking me about that. Tetrad is 4 consecutive total lunar eclipses. This is, I think, the second or third of this tetrad. Nothing particularly special about it that you'll be able to see, but it's just interesting to note that there's a cluster of them. And this is one of these tetrads or these clusters. The comments really quickly. Need a camera on moon for these eclipses from Michael? Yes, cameras on moon are good. You can just take a regular point and shoot digital camera and play with the settings for exposure time to get good pictures of the moon as it goes through different stages of the eclipse. That's what I did last time. And Michael also is looking forward to number 2 of the astrologer video. Oh dear. Number 2 is recorded. It will go up soon. There will be a 3 and a 4. I'm going to stick to my day job doing outreach, not so much with the humor, but again, I promised our donors for the Do-It-Yourself Science Zone at Geek Girl Con that I would do that. So speaking of Seattle, I'll be in Seattle the weekend of October 11th and 12th for Geek Girl Con, the Do-It-Yourself Science Zone. So if you happen to be going to Geek Girl Con or in Seattle or thinking about attending, there will be, during both days of the con, there will be a science zone staffed by several of us scientists. It's me, it's Rachel Burks, it's Deanne Lee. I think Matthew Francis is going to be there. A whole bunch of great people doing science experiments with kids and adults. So it's for all ages. We encourage everyone to come and play. I'll probably be doing the Pocket Solar System along with the CosmoQuest website. And thankfully that's it for travel. Tom Nathy says the November issue of Sky and Telescope, which I do not subscribe to anymore, unfortunately, but has a nice article on how planetary nebulae get their weird shapes. So check that out. That's a cool tidbit. As far as the Learning Space schedule coming up, wanted to share that with you in particular because George and I have talked about doing an open show. So we appreciate that some of you guys come back week after week and ask great questions and bring great comments to the show. And so we'd like to invite some of you guys, since we can fit up to 10 people in here, we'd like to invite some of you guys who are here every week to come on the show and share some of your favorite astronomy resources, educational resources in particular, or your own experiences doing astronomy either with CosmoQuest or in your backyard or wherever you do astronomy. I'll be reaching out to some of you guys, but if you're interested, you can email us at educate@cosmoquest.org if you want to be a part of that show. Like I said, tentatively for the 22nd. Oh, okay, it unfroze. with the solar eclipse to astronomy. Though, unfortunately, okay, I'm gonna sign up for. I think are an issue here at SIUE, and I apologize. I'm gonna end this, and thank you guys for coming out, and I will see you guys next week. Again, I'll be Sands, Georgia, but next week we'll be talking about the teacher training workshops down in Austin, Texas, and with the McDonald Observatory. So thank you guys for coming.